Okay, so we hear it all the time, don't we? All this advice on how to make businesses work. But when you really boil it all down, isn't success mostly about understanding what your customers are actually thinking?
Absolutely. Feels like trying to catch a whisper in a hurricane sometimes.
Exactly. So that's why we're doing this deep dive. We want to give you a practical way to really get your customer.
Think of it as a shortcut, maybe. Our mission here is to pull out the most valuable methods for genuinely knowing your customers based on some really solid material we've looked through.
Yeah, and it covers a lot from, actually talking to people one-on-one all the way to analyzing huge amounts of data.
Right.
And we know you're listening because you want the insights
Yeah.
fast, but without getting totally overwhelmed.
Hmm.
So we've done the heavy lifting, kind of filtered out the noise to get to the core strategies. Today, we're really focusing on two main ways to unlock that understanding, getting feedback directly from customers.
And then looking at the clues they leave behind, the indirect stuff.
Okay, let's jump into that direct feedback first. Surveys seem like a really common starting point.
They really are. Surveys are, well, they're practical. A direct line to ask about preferences, pain points, what people actually need or want.
And they scale, right? You can reach a lot of people without a huge amount of effort, especially with tools like SurveyMonkey or Google Forms.
Definitely. And it's not just about ticking boxes either. Good surveys let you get both qualitative stuff, those open-ended questions where people can explain in their own words.
Yeah, the why.
Exactly. And the quantitative data, multiple choice, rating stuff you can measure easily. That mix gives you numbers and nuance.
Which helps you see exactly where things are working or maybe where they're not, product, service, price, whatever it is.
And it's crucial. There's this stat. I think it's something like 65% of consumers switch brands after just one bad experience.
Wow, 65.
Yeah, and it jumps to 80% if they have more than one. So finding those issues early through surveys, it's pretty important.
It really highlights the need to be proactive, doesn't it? Rather than just waiting for complaints to roll in.
Precisely. You're actively looking for trouble spots before they cause someone to leave.
Okay, so beyond surveys, which are more structured, what about just talking to people?
Oh, that's huge. Direct conversations face-to-face, phone calls, even email, they give you this personalized understanding. It's qualitative info you just don't get from raw data.
You can pick up on unique concerns, maybe answer specific product questions right there.
Yeah. And sometimes stumble onto improvements you hadn't even considered. Like, think about customer service calls.
Right?
How often do they highlight a common problem with a feature? You hear that enough times, you know you need an update or maybe just better instructions.
And it builds a relationship too, feeling heard. That creates loyalty. It's different from just being a number in a survey result.
Absolutely. Plus, it's a super fast feedback loop. Got a new idea, a promotion, talk to a few customers directly. You'll get much richer insight into why they might be interested or not compared to just looking at numbers.
Okay, that makes sense. Then there are focus groups. How do they fit in? They seem a bit different.
They are. Focus groups are more intimate. You bring together a small, specific group of customers for a deeper discussion.
So less about quantity, more about quality.
Exactly. The real power here is getting to the why. Why do they prefer this? Why did that experience frustrate them? You can dig much deeper than a survey usually allows.
So you might uncover things like, I don't know, subtle reasons they like one design over another, or maybe they suggest a whole new way to use your product that you hadn't thought of.
Precisely. And you also get to see the group dynamic. How do they interact? Who influences who? Adds another layer of understanding. It's much more nuanced.
Got it. So surveys for breadth, conversations for personal connection, focus groups for depth. That covers the direct feedback pretty well.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's shift then. What about the other side, the indirect analysis? Looking at what customers do, not just what they say. Analyzing customer data must be a big one here.
Oh, absolutely massive. Customer data demographics, browsing habits, purchase history. It's like a gold mine of information if you know how to read it. It shows trends, preferences, actual buying behavior.
But the key is analyzing it properly, right? Not just collecting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need accurate analysis to really get who your audience is. Tools like CRM systems help track interactions.
And things like Google Analytics show website behavior. What happens after a purchase?
Right. Take purchase history, for example. See what different segments buy most often. You can target your marketing way more effectively.
Makes sense.
Or if you see people spending ages on a product page but not buying,
Yeah. That's a flag, isn't it? Maybe the price is wrong. Maybe the description isn't clear. Maybe checkout is clunky.
And even basic demographics, age, location, help you tailor the message so it actually resonates.
It all points towards the same goal, having the right product, improving the experience, and ultimately, boosting conversions and keeping customers coming back. Okay, data analysis is key. What else falls under this indirect umbrella? You mentioned social listening tools earlier.
Yes. Social listening. These tools basically let you monitor real-time conversations happening online. Social media, forums, blogs.
So you're tracking keywords, hashtags, brand mentions.
Exactly. Tools like Hootsuite, Brandwatch, Sprout Social help you do this across platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You get a live feed of what people are thinking, wanting, how opinions might be shifting.
It sounds like you can almost gauge the mood, the sentiment.
You absolutely can. Most tools measure sentiment, positive, negative, neutral. So you can react quickly, address a concern before it blows up, or capitalize on positive buzz.
And I guess it helps with strategy too, like spotting recurring complaints or even seeing what competitors are up to.
For sure, you spot criticisms you need to address, you see emerging industry trends, you monitor competitors. Understanding that whole conversation helps you adjust your own offerings and marketing to stay relevant.
And it's kind of related to social listening, but maybe more specific, is monitoring online reviews, right?
Definitely. Reviews on places like Google, Yelp, Amazon, Trustpilot, they're incredibly valuable. It's often very candid, unfiltered feedback.
Give you a clear read on satisfaction levels.
Exactly. Positive reviews tell you what you're doing right, what people genuinely appreciate. Keep doing that.
Yeah, validation is always good.
But the negative ones, they're basically free consultancy. They pinpoint exactly where you need to improve. Maybe it's the product, maybe it's customer support training.
Kind of gives you a chance to respond directly, doesn't it? Show you're listening.
Yes. Engaging with reviews, positive or negative, shows you're customer-centric. It builds trust, even when addressing criticism.
Okay, another big piece of indirect analysis must be website behavior. What people actually do on your site.
Crucial. How users navigate your site tells you so much about their experience and potential roadblocks to conversion. Google Analytics is the go-to for many here.
So you're looking at things like where they click, how long they stay on pages, where they drop off.
Precisely. High traffic to a product page but low conversion. That signals a problem on that page, or maybe further down the funnel, like the checkout.
Find the friction points.
Find them and fix them. Improving that user journey based on actual behavior directly impacts conversions. And just like analyzing purchase data, it also shows you what people are interested in, which helps inform future marketing and product decisions.
Now, you mentioned competitors earlier in the context of social listening. Is there more to monitoring competitors' customers?
Oh, yeah. It's a really smart strategy.
Yeah.
You're not just looking at your customers, but the broader market within your industry, analyzing their social interactions, their product feedback, the reviews.
What can that tell you?
It can highlight unmet needs in the market or areas where your competitors are maybe dropping the ball. You can use tools like SimilarWeb or SEMrush to see their web traffic, keywords, engagement levels.
So you're looking for their weaknesses.
Or strengths you need to match. But yes, weaknesses are opportunities. If their customers constantly complain about, say, delivery times, and you know yours are faster, that's a selling point you can emphasize.
Makes sense. Or seeing how their customers react to a new feature they launch.
Exactly. It gives you clues about shifting customer expectations across the whole industry.
Okay, we've gathered all this data, direct and indirect. How do we make sense of it all? I know developing customer personas is a common technique.
It really is. Personas are basically fictional characters you create that represent your ideal customer segments. They're not just made up, though. They're based on all the real data and insights you've gathered.
And the point is?
The point is to segment your audience so you can tailor everything, marketing, product development, communication, much more effectively. Instead of trying to talk to everyone at once, you talk to Sarah the savvy shopper or Mike the meticulous researcher.
So what goes into a good persona? More than just age and location.
Oh, much more. Demographics are just the start. You need their behaviors. How do they shop? Their challenges. What problems are they trying to solve? Their objectives, their motivations. What really makes them tick.
So you might have one persona for like a tech-savvy millennial who buys everything online, and another for an older customer who prefers researching in-store.
Exactly. And having those distinct personas helps you craft messages that resonate, design products that solve their specific problems, and deliver the right kind of experience.
And it gets everyone on the same page, right? Marketing, sales, product teams.
Precisely. Everyone has a shared understanding of who they're building for and talking to. It leads to much better alignment.
Okay, one last technique. Customer journey mapping. This sounds like it ties a lot of things together.
It really does. Customer journey mapping is about visualizing every single interaction a customer has with your brand, all the touch points, from the moment they first hear about you, through the research phase, the purchase, the post-purchase support, everything.
And why map it all out? To find the problems.
To find the problems, the friction points, yeah, but also the opportunities to improve the experience at each stage.
Can you give an example?
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe the map shows a big drop-off during checkout. That tells you to investigate the payment process or the user interface there. Or maybe it reveals a gap after the sale customers feel abandoned. So you might introduce follow-up emails or better support resources.
So it's about seeing the whole picture from the customer's perspective.
Exactly. Understanding that entire journey lets you fine-tune each step to make it as seamless and satisfying as possible. That's what builds loyalty and encourages repeat business. Journey maps help you understand behavior and expectations across the board so you can tailor things to really meet their needs.
Wow, okay. So pulling this all together, it's crystal clear that truly understanding your customers isn't just, a nice to have. It's fundamental for long-term success.
Absolutely essential.
And we've covered a whole range of methods, haven't we? From direct feedback surveys, conversations, focus groups, to that indirect analysis of data, social chatter, reviews, website behavior, competitors.
Right. And often, the richest insights come from using a mix of these.
Yeah.
They each give you a different piece of the puzzle.
Well, we really hope this deep dive has given you some practical, actionable ways to cut through all the noise out there and get that genuine understanding of your own customer base. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Looking back at all these methods we discussed, which one do you think might unlock the most surprising insight about your customers right now? And maybe more importantly, what's just one small change you could realistically implement today based on that potential insight?
Yeah, think about what fits your situation, your resources. It's really about taking that first step, isn't it? And then just committing to continuously learning about the people you serve.